So thank you all for all that hard work. There still, as we've talked about, is some room for feedback in these documents. I want to flag a couple of things as I've heard today. Some of it, I think, is going to fit into what we might think of next steps, such as what does the process look like? How do we make this work in the marketplace? Something that I think I want to talk a little bit about after lunch is to revisit the naming issue, to see if there's more that we want to say now, or if that's something that we want to say, this is important. We know it's, in fact, a number of documents flag it as a hard problem, but is there more that, for example, the framing group can say about naming to highlight existing tools or something like that? Is there anything else that you heard today that you want to flag to discuss a little more about these documents?
One thing.
Yes.
One thing I wanted to think about is the configuration problem that you guys mentioned about not being able to detect. Can SBOM do anything there?
Configuration, huge issue. I think that's going to fit in, and what I've got here is a set of potential next steps. And for those of you watching online, it's now linked to on the NTIA website. We didn't want to have it distract from the morning's conversation. Said an initial list of potential next steps, and I think that's something that can go on this list. This is to start the conversation. I think there are too many things on these lists to easily do, but after lunch we're going to talk about, one, what does it take to get these versions, this phase, across the finish line? And we'll have a little bit of discussion about how you'd like to present them. NTIA is somewhat limited by our content management system online, but there's some things that I think we can talk about, and having suggestions from you will give me the ability to go to my comms team and my IT team to say, hey, we need a little more. But then really want to dive into sort of the next steps of extending and refining the model so we can put configuration on that queue. We've got tooling and processes. We can sort of bundle those together, since one thing that's come up today is those are very closely related. And Kate's flagged that one. The broader awareness and adoption piece, this starts to get into how do we think about this in the market perspective? Who are the partners that we need? Is there a role for government? Is there a role for ISACs? Things like that. And then, of course, the demonstrations. Healthcare proof of concept 2. Maybe someone else wants to take the lead in thinking about a proof of concept in their sector. And since we know, as we've heard from folks like JFrog, that people are doing this today, let's start documenting where this has been done in a way that we can sort of show, hey, this works. Because there's a huge difference between an online project, and a web app, and a hospital medical device, and that's great. The spirit underlying them is the same as we talk about these documents. Let's start talking about this. So I'll leave these handouts just outside. For those watching online, we are going to reconvene at 1:15 sharp Eastern Time. Those of you in the room, if you're lucky, as you come in late from lunch, I'll thank you for joining by name. So that's their incentive to come and return to us on time. Thank you again. We thought this was a really productive morning and really phenomenal work. So thank you all.